My name is Helen Brooks. I am 67 years old, and for most of my life, I believed that love meant sacrifice. Real love, I thought, was quiet. It didn't ask questions. It didn't complain. It just gave and gave until there was nothing left. I learned that way of loving from my own mother. She never raised her voice. She never said no. Even when she was tired, sick, or hurting, she smiled and said, "It's okay." I grew up thinking that was strength. After my husband Robert died, that belief became my entire life. Robert and I were married for 38 years. He was not a loud man, but he was steady. When he passed away from a heart attack, the house felt hollow. The silence didn't arrive all at once. It crept in slowly, like dust settling on furniture no one touched anymore. At first, Daniel called every day. "Mom, are you okay? Mom, did you eat? Mom, I'll come by this weekend." Over time, the calls became shorter. Then less frequent. Then mostly about problems. Money problems. Time problems. Life problems. Daniel married Karen 5 years after Robert died. She was polite in the beginning. Always smiling. Always calling me a Mom Helen. I wanted to like her. I tried hard. I brought casseroles. I offered to babysit. I paid for little things so they wouldn't feel stressed. Somewhere along the way, kindness turned into obligation. Karen stopped asking. She started informing. "We're short this month. We need help with groceries. The kids' school needs payment." I never said no. Part of me was afraid. Afraid that if I stopped being useful, I would stop being needed. I lived on a fixed income. A pension. Some savings Robert left behind. I told myself I didn't need much. I was alone. I didn't travel. I didn't buy new clothes. I wore the same winter coat for 8 years. Every time I sent money, I felt a strange mix of pride and sadness. Pride that I could still help. Sadness that help was the only thing connecting us. One Sunday afternoon, I cooked a full meal. Roast chicken. Mashed potatoes. Green beans. Daniel's favorite apple pie. I waited. No one came. I called Daniel. Straight to voicemail. Later that evening, I saw photos online. A birthday party for Karen's sister. Everyone smiling. Balloons. Cake. Children laughing. Again, I was not there. That night, I didn't cry. I just sat at the table and stared at the food until it went cold. A week later, Karen called about rent. "Helen, we're short again. Just for this month." Her voice was calm. Confident. Like she already knew the answer. I asked her something I had never dared to ask before. "Karen," I said, "if I stopped helping, would you still call me?" There was a long pause. I could hear the television in the background. One of the kids laughing. "That's a strange question," she said finally. "Why would you stop helping?" "Why indeed?" "I can't send the money this time," I said quietly. Her tone hardened. "Well, that puts us in a bad situation." No concern for me. Only for the situation. After we hung up, my hands shook. I felt guilty. Then angry at myself for feeling guilty. For the first time, I allowed myself to add the numbers. rent help, groceries, school supplies, emergency bills, gifts, loans never repaid. The total scared me. That money could have been doctor visits, dental care, a small vacation, peace. Instead, it brought me silence. When Daniel finally came over weeks later, he didn't ask how I was. He asked why I changed. "You've become distant," he said. I looked at my son. His face looked older, tired, but not concerned. "I didn't change," I said. "I just stopped disappearing." He didn't understand at first. Maybe he still doesn't. But something inside me had already settled. I stopped answering late-night requests. I stopped apologizing for boundaries. I started choosing myself in small ways. Morning walks, library visits, tea with a neighbor named Ruth who listened without expecting anything. Loneliness didn't disappear, but it changed shape. It became quieter, softer, manageable. Months later, Daniel called again. This time, his voice was different. "Mom, I think we took you for granted." I didn't rush to fix things. I didn't rush to offer help. "I love you," I said. "But love doesn't mean I vanish." That night, I slept better than I had in years. I am still a mother. Still an auntie. Still a woman with love to give. But now, I give it without losing myself. And if this story feels familiar to you, remember this. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is survival. If you found strength in this story, stay with this channel. There are many more stories like this waiting to be told. Subscribe and keep listening.